Hi, my name is Eric Taylor, and I'm a certified sommelier and owner of Just a Taste Wine Bar in St. James and Webb City, Missouri. To say that times are crazy is a bit of an understatement, so we're trying to be as flexible as possible. In that spirit, I've started some virtual wine tastings to help get us through this time of lockdown. Join us from home, open up a bottle, pour a glass, and we can make it through this. The first selection I've assembled are four of my favorite robust reds. These are wines from all around the world that showcase different styles of bold, deeply flavored wines. We're starting out with one of my recent cravings, spicy, meaty Rhone blends. So, Domaine de Cailloux is a small, family-operated winery in Vacqueyras, a village in southern Rhone Valley. What do you need to know about this village? Well, Vacqueyras is one of just two villages that has been elevated from Coteron Village up into its own AOC, the other being Gigondas. What does that mean? Well, there are many aspects in the creation of French appellation d'origin, but the wines from the designated area have to have a consistent style and quality that encompasses the character of that appellation. In the same year that Vacqueyras was elevated, Sergei Ferragut launched Sang de Cailloux as his own winery. He operates a modest winery that produces about 5,000 cases annually of organic and biodynamic wines. His passion and his love of his work and his life goes into every bottle. And what we have here is the Cuvee Doucinello 2014. Named after one of his daughters, which is just great. What we need to know about the wine. So all Vacqueyras is going to follow the typical blend of southern Rhone Valley, so predominantly Grenache. But then this also has some Syrah, Mourvedre, and Cinsault blended into it. It's great. Red and dark fruits, raspberry, blueberry, with earthy elements and prominent notes of leather, game, olive, Greek, and freshly cracked white and black pepper. There's also some cocoa powder and tobacco. It's just a lovely, lovely wine. He ferments and macerates this wine in cement tanks, but it does spend about 6 months in fruta. Large oak casks, so it helps soften and mellow the wine, but not really imbuing a strong oaky flavor. On the palate, the tannins are really, really mild, and combined with the acidity and minerality, just has this nice, crunchy, chalky texture on your tongue. Red fruit flavors really, really come out, very prominent. But then there's this nice hint of that Garrigue, so herb de Provence, and a little bit of pepper, and just slight leathery notes. 6 years old, it's starting to get to where it's expressing some tertiary notes, so notes of the wine being aged, but it's still pretty primary. This wine is evolving slowly, showing it's a really, really nice wine, something you could lay down for a few more years. I'm just also just drinking really, really beautifully right now. I'd recommend decanting it. A lot of biodynamic wines, so one of the regulations is they have limits on sulfite use. Typically lower levels of sulfite, which means some things happen in the bottle, which wouldn't happen if there was sulfite there. In really, really bad conditions, the wine can just kind of turn, but for wines that are really carefully made like this, all it needs is a little splash of air, maybe 30 minutes or so in a decanter. A lot of that blows off, and it's just so great. I poured my sample from a Corvin, and 20 minutes later, it's singing. It's fine. So yeah, incredible wine. That was great. Next, moving over to Italy, to the Tuscan appellation of Montepulciano. So more people are familiar with Chianti. It's the heart of Tuscany. But just to the southeast is the village of Montepulciano, where they make Vino Nobile de Montepulciano. So it follows the very similar rules as Chianti. 70% Sangiovese, which they call locally Prugnolo Gentile. But it can also have other indigenous grapes from that region. It follows a few other similar rules as well. It does have to be aged for 12 months in wood, and then another 12 months either in the bottle, in another vessel, or any combination of the two. So minimum 24 months for Vino Nobile. But Riserva has to be aged for at least 3 years. Still the same minimum, maybe only 12 months in wood. They say wood because it could be oak, acacia, chestnut. But they could do all 3 years in wood if they choose to. So this wine we have here is by the Fanetti family. So this is Tenuta Saint Agnes. It's been under the Fanetti family for about 100 years now. And Adamo Fanetti, the first of the Fanetti family, his granddaughter Elisabetta is now in charge. So let's dive into the wine. Red fruit driven, dark sour cherries with strong floral notes and a rustic character. It's typical of Chianti. Dusty, kind of scorched earth tones with hints of licorice. The wine is really soft on the palate. Some similar minerality notes as the Cailloux. A little softer tannins because of some of the age of this wine. It's starting to hit that balance where the tertiary notes, so those age notes, are starting to take over a little bit. That licorice is getting more prominent. There's a bit more savory element, but the fruit is still right there. 2010 vintage and Riserva, so it was aged a bit longer before being bottled. It's starting to show its age. It's right at 10 years. It's developing very nicely. It could still develop further. You'll get more chocolatey fruit liqueur flavors if you let it develop more. But I think it's in a really good spot right now. So it's definitely, for under $30, that's drinking phenomenally. Okay, we're gonna jump across the pond to our home turf. Literally our home turf. This wine is made by two young bucks from the Midwest, myself and my best friend Casey Stuck. So, Eagles Landing. It's our own wine label. We started in 2015 when we moved out to St. James, Missouri. My family's been out here since the turn of the 20th century, and in fact, I'm filming this video in the house that my grandfather grew up in. The vision of Eagles Landing is to present modern Missouri wines that focus on expressing a sense of place by imbuing old world techniques to connect with our heritage. We work with several incredible growers across Missouri's Ozark Highlands and Ozark Mountain AVAs. And we help out at harvest. We crush grapes by hand or by foot upon occasion, and gently coax the wines along until they really can express themselves. My favorite description of our process is low intervention winemaking. So the 17 is our flagship wine, our Grand Vin, and it's the culmination of our work every year. We try to find the best balance that presents a wine unique unto itself with old world aesthetics and character. All right, let's dive in. Ripe, slightly dried red and purple fruits, like red currant and mulberry. Notes of cedar, tobacco, some cocoa nibs. Even some hints of cinnamon. With our love of Italian wines and my healthy Italian heritage, we really lean into the acidity and freshness. So I would say our wines definitely have a pop. But there's ample fruit and soft, supple tannins that help round it all out. The blend varies every year. It's generally equal parts Chambourcin and Norton, usually leaning towards Norton, but sometimes other varietals are blended in, depending upon the vintage. The 2017 was aged in 18 months in about 20% new French oak, but generally we try to shy away from using too much oak in our wines. It's really nice. Okay, moving on. Chappellet Mountain Cuvee 2018. So Don Chappellet started Chappellet Estate in 1966 by purchasing over 300 acres in the hillside acreage in Napa Valley by the recommendation of winemaking legend André Chalachev. Today, his Pritchard Hill is an icon amongst Napa Cabernets, and the Mountain Cuvée is a Bordeaux-style blend and kind of one of their introductory wines. And it's heavy towards the Cabernet Sauvignon with Merlot, followed by Malbec, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Franc. So all 5 varietals. I don't think anyone grows Carmenere in Napa, but I could be wrong. Let's just dive into the wine. So, lush, juicy red and black plum with blackberry, pie crust, vanilla, pipe tobacco, and a really, really heady nose. The structure is lush and generous and powerful, yep, supple. The finish stays with you for a long time. This is the kind of wine that I save towards the end of a meal, just to enjoy with a friend, maybe a nibble of dark chocolate. But this would also hold up to short ribs or juicy burger as well. Yeah, that's really nice. All right, so that wraps up this first virtual wine tasting. I hope you enjoyed it and are maybe interested in trying some of these wines. And whether you're supporting Just a Taste or another local wine shop or restaurant, we sincerely thank you for your patronage, especially during this difficult time. Hopefully, we'll have our doors open soon, but not too soon, and be able to continue these tastings in persons. So, salud, and drink delicious.